Welcome to today's Heart of the Hustle. I am here with Dr. Gill. He is an amazing chiropractor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and also known as Mr. Dr. Sarah Mahmood, who's been on this show as well. So glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you.
So a little bit about me on the professional side, as you mentioned, I'm a chiropractor, but we do a lot of therapy as well. So rehabilitation is one of our strong suits, and we specialize in accident cases. So people that have been injured in car accidents is one area that we do specialize in, which is kind of our niche. But we see everybody from infants to the elderly in our office and just help them get out of pain and get well.
How did you decide to focus on people who are from car accidents?
So it kind of organically snowballed into that. To be honest, I always kind of did it, but it was a small percentage of my business. When I started in 2017, I opened up my own practice. I had done associateship other places, and I saw a few cases, but after the pandemic is really when it took off. We had to go away from a lot of the wellness model and go into more essential service models. So people are still getting in car accidents, but in 2020, everybody was at home, and the wellness stuff was kind of like a commodity and didn't have to necessarily do it, but it was like a good to have kind of thing and feeling. But the injured clients, obviously, broken bones, whiplash, concussions, all that, they need treatment, right, in office. So it really took off then.
And I know one of the things that you and I talked about in preparing for this interview was that, you work with a lot of like attorneys and or just helping people sort of navigate through that because it's a lot. I've been in car accidents where, you've got insurance and then you're injured and, tell us how you help people through that process.
100%. So most people don't know what to do or where to start. So, of course, in any accident, if it's your fault or due to somebody else's negligence, you still have coverage. So we do see people that come in. Blatantly, they're like, I just ran into the back of somebody, right? And I wasn't paying attention, and now I have whiplash, and I can't work and things like that. So we use their own car insurance, and most people don't know they have, at a minimum $2,500 to max policy. I've seen up to $10,000 on personal injury protection. It's use it or lose it benefit. You already pay for this with your coverage, and most people don't know they can get medical care with that amount, even if it wasn't it wasn't due to somebody else's negligence. But
Interesting.
yeah, on the other part, when we get the attorneys involved, like you said, it's typically somebody hit you, wasn't your fault, and now you're not only in pain, you're suffering. You got a brand new car, and interest rates haven't gone down these days, or you had a paid off car, and then time off work, pain, suffering, the stress, dealing with insurance companies, it's a lot, honestly. And oftentimes people get PTSD too. They don't want to get in the car again. And if it's a severe accident or, broken bones and things like that. So when it comes to that, we do get them with an attorney. And typically, not only do they help navigate it, they take away all the stress of medical bills and dealing with the insurance company, getting their car fixed, and getting compensated for their pain and suffering. So that's typically what people don't know. They get compensated too when it's all said and done. And the average time it takes is 6 months to a year for everything to settle and all that. But, the most important thing is getting medical treatment after any accident. And that's what I always tell patients, even if they're in pain or not. There's, accidents are one of those things, whether it's a sports injury or a trip and fall or a car accident. That's how you get degeneration and chronic conditions over time. It's what you do throughout your life. It's epigenetics. It's not, my dad had a bad back, so I'm going to get a bad back. No, it's what you go through in life.
And we all go through things.
Yeah.
Right? And so much of it is just movement and staying on top of it.
Yes. movement is medicine. So
Movement is medicine. Yeah,
yeah.
I was complaining to Dr. Gill before this that my back it hurts a little bit today because I've been sick, and so I've sort of been in bed for a few days. And but it's just I just need to move.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. I'm not injured, but I just need to move. Tell us, what do you recommend for people as far as like movement goals? Do you ever talk about that with people? How much they should be moving? How much they should be moving their spine?
Yeah, so it's specific person to person. So the other 50% of my business is exactly that. So macro traumas is the accidents, the injuries, the athletes. The other is the micro traumas. So sitting behind the computer desk. Post-pandemic, that was the new problem, right? It's like, oh man, I have to sit here all day working from home, maybe on the kitchen counter, maybe on the sofa. Maybe you're sick and in bed like you were talking about and curled over like this. Posture is a huge part of our practice, and that's the more wellness component of why people come in, and they get a customized one-on-one consultation with our doctor, and we do develop goals and how much movement they should have, and what they can't do right now, their existing state, and what we need to do as far as our treatment plan to customize it and to get them to their desired state is what we focus on, and then continued care as far as wellness, because I call it occupational athlete, right? So you are doing this day in and day out, 8 hours a day, sitting, whether you're doing a podcast or sitting behind the computer desk, and you do need some wellness and regular care. So that's one of the things that gets asked to me all the time. Yeah.
I know one of the things we all did during the pandemic was get standing desks. Do you
Yes.
like those for people? Does it help with the posture and the movement?
Yes, I think standing desks are great. I recommend it. The saying I give to my patients, sitting is the new smoking. But more so like a sedentary lifestyle, right? Not moving is the killer, right? So putting in the work to get a standing desk is something that's more ergonomic, making sure you're keeping your shoulders back. Yes, fixing your posture. Every time I walk in the room, everybody's like, oh, sit up straight, right? But now that they've even had like treadmills, walking treadmills, that so they're going, the next step is starting to move, right? And not just standing and correcting your posture, but the movement is medicine. Definitely is what I promote and recommend. As far as some exercises, people ask me all the time, like, hey, sitting behind the computer desk, what is some things I can do? So just to give you some tips, it's, you can do simple exercises like chin tucks. So yeah, just moving, yeah, do it. Put your chin back, yep, and then
It's not the
forward.
most flattering kind of look.
No, it's not. It's not. And then you can, get your double chin here. Yep. And then go back. So you can do like 3 sets of 10 of that. Standing up, extending back, and of course, shoulder rolls. So shoulder rolls are important. Even me, myself, I'm human, right? So, sometimes I start tensing up. Yeah. People tell me all the time I carry all my tension, all my stress in my shoulders. It's true, right? And if you're stressed all day long and you're just like up here, it's going to create those knots that, when I put my hands on people, it's just like, oh my God, you got some bricks you're hiding in there. Like, what's going on? Are you stressed? Is it tension? Are you sitting behind the computer desk? Did you have any injuries? So, yeah.
I'm a trained yoga teacher. I don't know if I told you that. And
You
one of
told
the
me,
things
yeah.
we talk about is like your issues live in your tissues, right? And
Yes.
so it the movement or the lack of movement causes the knots, but then the stress gets caught in the knots, and then even if you let it go, then the stress is still there, and so it becomes this like ongoing cycle of physical, mental, right? And it's so hard
Yeah.
to break that cycle.
100%. So, that's the question that gets asked. Do I have to go see the chiropractor for the rest of my life? Yeah, maintenance is important, especially if you want to keep it up. But most of the time, the injury relief piece, and people come in with pain, and we get them out of that pain through our 3-phase approach of rehab and chiropractic. And then we do wellness as needed, right? And as long as you're doing yoga, exercising, just moving in general, all those things are less likely to come back.
So what are those 3 phases?
So the 3 phases, the first is doing passive modalities, like medical massage. It's not going to be your 60-minute feel-good massage. It's going to be, deep trigger point, working out those knots, cupping therapy. We do have a lot of tech in our office, so it's doing other modalities like the E-stem. It's kind of like a TENS unit, but a higher level.
What's that?
It contracts and relaxes the muscles. So oftentimes when you are tense, your muscles go into spasm, and it helps relieve those spasms and relaxes those muscles. So it contracts and relaxes those. It's about a 10-minute treatment, pretty quick, and it really helps with that. And then we have laser treatment, which we're, one of, I think, 10% of dentists that offer that. So laser treatment, red light therapy is what it is, but it penetrates really deep. So it gets up to 30 watts, and it's a pretty high frequency laser therapy. So it's the next best thing rather than getting like trigger point injections and things like that. It's really conservative. So a lot of people, think, oh, going to the chiropractor, is it going to hurt, right? No, most of the time it doesn't hurt. My wife, she's a dentist, right? The patients hate going to her, but they love coming to me. So even if you've never had chiropractic care before, I recommend it. And, 99% of the time they're like, oh, why didn't I try this before? This is amazing, right? So the next phases that we go into after the passive modalities is we go into doing mobility and yoga, stretching, and then we go into functional, which is strengthening the core, the back muscles, and that's the long-term solution, right? So often we're really good at what we do. Within a couple of visits, our patients are already feeling better. And then, that's not the end of it. That's when we can actually start working on the person with the mobility and the strengthening, obviously. But after the first adjustment, you can be sore and things like that. That's something to expect. But within like 6 to 12 visits, you really see a difference and can feel a reduction in pain and function improved.
So what made you want to become a chiropractor?
That's a great question. So I was going to that's where I met Sarah, actually, is at UTD, and I was a pharmacy technician, and I had gotten this job right out of high school and before I started at UTD, and I worked there for about 4 years, and I was going to go to pharmacy school. So took all the prerequisites, at UTD, and then was taking my PCAT, went and toured some pharmacy schools, and this whole time I was working at CVS, and it was just monotonous and repetitive, and I was like, I don't know, I'm already tired of this. I don't know if I could do this as a career for the rest of my life. And not only just the job in general, counting pills all day and all that and counseling people, but more so was the pain medications. Like, people would come in pissed. I still remember, like, there was a family that came in with broken bones all the time. I'm like, what's going on? And then it was pretty much the pain epidemic, right? These medications, controlled substances that are so addictive, people weren't getting better. They were just getting sicker and more medications. And not only on the pain side, I would see the elderly. They would start after, they call it going over the hill. After 50, they start with one medication, and then the next year they're on the second one. And then the next year they're on, 3, then 4, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And it's like people are getting sicker and sicker. And I was like, I got to do something different. So, at that time, Sarah and I were dating, and her sister, Asia, was going to chiropractic school. So she is the one that told me about chiropractic. And when I heard about it, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is exactly what, true health is working on the body with chiropractic care, the rehab, even nutrition. A lot of people don't know that chiropractors do a lot more. We work on the nervous system, and we can order labs and do a lot of chiropractors do nutrition, functional medicine type of stuff, and it's just whole body health is what it's about, and above, down, inside out. So the body has the power to heal itself as long as you're putting the right things in and having the movement. So I was so thankful and still am thankful for my wife. She's always my motivator and always pushes me in the right directions. And of course, my sister-in-law, because if she wasn't going to chiropractic school, I would have never known about it. So that's a little bit about my story.
Yeah, which is ironic because Asia now doesn't even do chiropractic.
Yeah.
She ended up starting a daycare, and I've worked with her for a long time. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Now she's doing consulting for other businesses on how to, grow, right? And serial business owner.
Yes. She is amazing. And, her consulting business has taken off and she's helping so many people. And that's what it's about, when it comes to any of our professions. Even my wife, we're helping people every day. And it's a rewarding profession to be in, chiropractic. And it's the best decision of my life. Yeah.
So you've mentioned your wife, and I know that she, and maybe you as well, have a family of entrepreneurs. So let's talk a little bit more about your wife. So you met at UTD, and then how long have you been married? And tell us more about her.
Yeah. So we met at UTD, and then we went to our doctorate. She went to dental school at Baylor. I went to Parker for chiropractic school, and then after that, we got married about 8 years ago now, and we've been happily married. And after our marriage, we got lucky enough to have our first son just 1 year out. So we had been together for a while and traveled together and all that kind of stuff, and spent a lot of time. So we got to start our family, and it was it's been amazing. So now we have 3 kids. Time flies. I know. It's Isa is now 6 years old, and then Adam is 4 years old, and then we have a daughter, and she is 11 months now.
It's amazing that I think it's so hard to run a business, and it's so hard to run a business as parents. And you guys are both such an inspiration because you both have your own businesses. And I want you to brag about her here in a second, and your parents with small children. And I just think it's just so admirable to watch both of you and how you kind of balance all of it. So what would you say to all of us entrepreneurs out there who are also parents and trying to juggle it all? How do you guys manage?
I would say, having present time consciousness, when you're wearing multiple hats, you got to have that. So in the moment when I'm with them, I'm with them. When I'm at work, at work. When I'm on a date night with my wife, I'm with her. So having that PTC, present time consciousness, but how to juggle it all, I'm super thankful for family. Honestly, my mother-in-law, she's retired and she lives 5 minutes away. My mom lives 5 minutes away, and she can be at our house within 5 minutes, and anytime we need, whether we need some time away from the kids or just some general help, and we have a meeting to get to or something like that. So super blessed in that regard. So I'm very thankful for both our moms and the rest of the family. She has 4 sisters, and they all live close here in Frisco. So Asia is amazing. She has the daycare, so that helps, having a sister-in-law with a daycare. So we're still having trouble with our last born, Layla. We haven't dropped her off yet to daycare. She's been at home with my mom. But yeah, the family really helps, and having that present time consciousness is how we balance it all with 3 kids, her 3 clinics, my 3 clinics, and we're growing. We have within the next year, we're going to open 1 or 2 more. So.
And you recently announced you're going to be blending your clinics. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So as far as blending the clinics, we are just trying to be strategic, with being together, and a lot of the business it's all the same as far as, marketing goes, SEO and, location. Having it all under one roof really helps not only manage cost, but just strategically with management of the business, whether it's stopping by or having everything under one roof. It really helps. So, yeah.
And you can share the, common services, right? Payroll, accounting. I mean, some of the receptionist, right? Some of that kind of stuff. It's nice to be able to share.
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff blends in together, and having it, one accountant and one HR manager, one operations manager. All the stuff is really the same. How many new patients, how many total visits, all that kind of stuff. The KPIs are very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting. I was recently visiting Sarah, and some of the stuff that I have going on with my teeth has to do with a lot of grinding. And so she actually said not only, I get a night guard and some other, kind of things, but she actually recommended that I see you to kind of deal, I guess, all this stuff is tight or something. So I've thought that was really interesting, and how great would it be for you to be there. But tell me more about that. Like, do you like massage people's faces? Like, because you always think of chiropractors as it's like your back.
Yeah. So as far as the TMJ goes, we do see a lot of that, and she refers cases over to me. Just like you tense up with your shoulders if you're grinding your teeth and clenching your jaw due to stress, or you do it at night. You have those same muscles, right? Like your masters, your big chewing muscles, and digastrics that open your mouth. So we work on all this musculature and the trigger points, just like we do with the back. So yeah, a lot of people think, oh, chiropractor, that's just my back, but no. We do deal with TMJ pain. We do deal with headaches, neck pain, the car accidents that we talked about, and concussions and headaches. Yeah.
So how many locations do you have around the Dallas area?
We have 3 locations. So we live in Frisco, and that location services McKinney, Allen, Plano, and Frisco. So it's on the 4 corners on Custer and 121. And then we have our Hearst location, which is HEB, Hearst, Euless, Bedford area, and we service a little bit of Northwestern Hills and East Fort Worth there. And then we have Arlington, which is South Arlington, so Arlington, Mansfield, and a little bit of that East Fort Worth as well. So those are our locations. We're opening up in Plano this summer, and then Garland, hopefully by the end of the year. So excited about that. And yeah, those are our locations.
Will those also be the Brush 365 locations, or will it kind of vary by location?
Yeah,
or are you still
we're
trying to
both
figure it
opening
out?
up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're both opening up there. So it's going to be great. Yeah.
Awesome. So I think there's a lot of misconceptions about chiropractors and what they do, and is it going to hurt, and the big cracky noises, and it's just about your back. Tell us some of the myths that you hear about chiropractic that you wish people didn't have, those misconceptions.
Yeah. So the big misconceptions are exactly what you talked about. So the first one is it going to hurt, right? Naturally, if you get a massage, if you work out for the first time, you're going to get some soreness, right? So that does happen. I would say most people don't get sore after the first adjustment. They just feel great. But it depends on how inactive you were or how much inflammation you have in your body. So really, that's what we're doing when we adjust you, is we're releasing those that inflammation from your muscles and joints. So when that's released, obviously that lactic acid, we recommend drinking a lot of water so you don't get sore, just like after you get a massage or after you work out. So most of the time it doesn't hurt. People are like, oh, that wasn't too bad. I feel great and amazing afterwards, because we do release a lot of your natural painkillers and your feel-good hormones like enkephalin and dopamine. So you feel really good afterwards. Yeah.
I love going to the chiropractor.
Yes. Most
What
people
other
do.
myths?
One of the myths, we kind of went over it earlier. Is it just for the back? No, it's for the neck. It's for concussions. It's for headaches. We do see a lot of sciatica, pain going down your legs. And even with the laser treatments, we treat neuropathy. And then the decompression therapy we do, a lot of people that have disc herniations, that's really the best conservative method is chiropractic care and rehab. And that's where most people should start when they have back pain. Yeah, we have partnerships and we work with a lot of pain management doctors. We work with a lot of orthopedic surgeons and neurosurgeons. But I would say if they come to me first, they can avoid all those things. But after I do a detailed examination and check their MRIs and X-rays, I can tell them like, hey, this is probably going to work and you're a great candidate, or I think you should consider surgery. You have a huge disc herniation that's pinching on that nerve, and it's objectively there. Yeah.
I saw a chiropractor for about a year and it was my hip. It
Oh,
was
wow.
like,
Yeah.
I thought it was my lower back, and he's
Uh-huh.
like, no, your hip just keeps popping out of place. So we just, kept having to put it back in the right spot and do some other therapies and movement therapies and stuff. But I thought that was interesting that it wasn't my back, it was my hips that was causing, a displacement.
Yeah, we get a lot of people coming in that, they think it's the back, or they go to Google or ChatGPT these days and try to diagnose themselves. That's the biggest thing. I have to like work backwards. They come with their misconceptions. But yeah, we do all extremities. So not only hips, knees, plantar fasciitis, ankle sprains, tennis elbow, golfer's elbow. Actually, I would say desk sitter's elbow now. People typing all day. It's not, golfer's elbow or tennis elbow anymore. More people are coming in that have been sitting behind the computer desk typing all day, and they get tendonitis of that elbow. But carpal tunnel, all that kind of stuff. So, but from the head down, we deal with it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. How can people find you if they want to come see you?
Sure. So if they want to come see me, you can easily schedule online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.zenithdfw.com, or they can easily pick up the phone and call 972-210-0033.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and go check out his amazing wife's interview as well. It's Dr. Sarah Mahmood, and you're going to be back here at the Heart of the Hustle studio to talk about one of your other businesses here in a few weeks, and we're so excited to have you here then. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, exciting. Thank you, guys.